3-story building converted into 2 stories. As you can probably see, these people here had no chance.
Amazing. That was more devastating footage from that California earthquake. Now, the Glance's story. Let's move to our next guest. They also experienced a horrifying event as they were shaken out of their bed at 4:31 a.m. on the morning of January 17th, 1994. They would later learn they were shaken by an earthquake registering 6.6 on the Richter scale. In its wake, 16 people dead. From Reseda, California, survivors Richard and Julie join us to tell your story. My goodness, you're sound asleep. It's 4:31 in the morning. And what was the first sensation that you got that something was very wrong?
Just the second it hit, the noise was so intense, and it literally pushed me out of bed, and I jumped out of bed as a reaction to go in the doorway, which is what I learned as a kid. Never made it to the doorway because it was shaking so hard. It hit me against the wall, and I fell on the floor, and the noise was just so intense I couldn't hear myself think, and just imagine pretty much everything in my apartment crashing to the floor, and it's pretty amazing.
I hear that the sound of an earthquake is a very peculiar sound. What does it sound like?
You know, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just so loud. I heard more just everything crashing around me. Mm-hmm. That's what I heard. And the vibrations, which might be how some people describe as a freight train.
Those vibrations really affected your apartment complex.
Right.
Tell us about
It's a very large complex divided into many sections, and most of the complex was 3 stories collapsed down to 2. The section that we lived in was the only section that remained 3 stories, so we actually got very lucky. We were on the 2nd floor, but a majority of the apartment was down to 2 floors, some pancaked where you couldn't even see the 1st floor.
Let's take a look at some of the video that you brought along with us and explain to us what we're actually seeing here. Wow.
That's my kitchen, what was left of it. That was the outdoor stairwell looking out my bedroom window.
Wow.
Right down below there was a dead body. Someone had passed away.
Oh my goodness.
Crushed.
As you can see, you can't even really see the 1st floor or make it out because it was so crumbled.
I understand 16 people died in that tragedy.
Right.
Wow. When you go through something like that, and these were people that you saw in the laundry room, people you saw in the mail room, you said hello to when you walked down the hall. What does that do to you?
It just makes you really count your blessings, you know, surviving something like that where you know you were so close to people that died. It just, from that day on, I mean, it just really makes you think what you have and to really not take things so for granted and just be really grateful for surviving.
Yeah. 40 seconds, I understand, was all this earthquake lasted. That must have been, what were you thinking when this was, because I can imagine it seemed like hours.
Well, when it hit, it was like, honey, this is the big earthquake. Let's not mess around in the house. Let's get dressed, get a couple cats, get the cellular phone, and let's get out of here. I mean,
of course, that was useless because phones were working.
I've been born and raised in California, and normally you just, in the middle of the night, you sleep right through them. This one was, let's get out of here. This is bad.
I thought this was it. I remember thinking when it was still shaking and going on, and when like I said, when I couldn't make it to the doorway and it was so intense, I thought, this is it. I'm history. I'm going to die here. Just don't let me suffer. And that's what was going through my mind. And then I hear him screaming out my name, which was a sigh of relief. And as soon as it stopped, he was in, you know, just let's do this, this, and this, and let's get out of here. And we got out as soon as we could.
Unbelievable. We're happy to have you here. You know, it's really ironic, as I was telling you during the commercial, that was the very day that our show debuted for the very first time. Of course, we never made it on the air because of all the earthquake coverage, but that was certainly a day that all of us were gripped to the television watching the disaster in your area.
Do you have a new outlook on life, being that you had a second chance, you know, with life?
You just count your blessings. I think after the earthquake and we survived together, we grew really a lot closer, got married last year, and so you count your blessings.
Coming up, more amazing stories, including 2 parachuters who cheated death.